What's happening, you guys? Alright, we are in Turlock, California, right in front of U.S. Cold Storage. Last night I got here earlier this morning, I don't know, about 2 o'clock or so this morning. Got here, dropped my empty trailer, picked up my loaded, and then just came right over here to park for a 7-hour break. 7-hour split, I would actually. Alright, I mentioned that in my previous video that I was going to be taking my empty over to here and picking up a load going to Manteca. My wife gives me crap about the slight way that I kind of articulate the E in that word. My wife's a Spanish speaker, so she gives me shit if there's anything I pronounce that in Spanish that it's not the proper Spanish way. I tease her a little bit about that. Anyway, it's about a 29-mile drive. Be a little bit more time here. I'm gonna try to keep the dialogue reasonably short, but if you're not here to watch the stories and you just want to see the experience of the customer, just keep in mind I always have bookmarks in the video description, so you can always skip ahead if you don't want to see hear the storytelling part. But I don't know. I know there are people who like to hear the stories, especially people who are friends with me. That said, I was just on the phone with a friend of mine. It turns out he got asked by somebody at the terminal how much interest he might have in becoming a trainer. Now, JCT, we were never really much of a puppy mill company. Never really had. We did have a training program before. It was actually something more resembling what Prime does, from what I understand. And that would be, I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me how Prime's program works, but I know JCT's program before was only the trainee was allowed to drive for the first so many thousand miles. I think 6,000 miles or something like that. Yeah, they'd have to log 6,000 paid miles, whatever, dispatch miles before they could switch to where it's a super solo operation. Yeah, super solo is where it's primarily the trainee driving still, but the trainer can also drive sometime. Like the trainer has to spend on-duty time in the right seat when the trainee is driving. And they can also drive, basically finish out the 14, whatever, or something along that line. Again, I'm not super solid on the exact details there. All right. We're going to get on northbound 99 here. I have the map set up so you can see where we're at in relation to things. Scotty's neck of the woods. Scotty's from Stockton. Yeah, Scotty D67, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about there. Most of you guys do. But I know some of you guys don't, or some of you might not be, whatever. He's got a much bigger YouTube following than I have. It's a buddy of mine who used to drive for JCT also. Anyway, we're in his neck of the woods, and you can see Sacramento also on the map view. So when I get up here to the light, I'll go ahead and change that view in a little bit more, so it's just between us and the customer. Alright, this load is definitely a little bit of a porker. The truck, I can definitely tell when I hit my throttle, is definitely sluggish to want to get moving at all. The bills do say 42,000 and change, so it's probably up in the 78,000 gross neighborhood, I would guess. I didn't get the other driver who dropped it did not include a scale ticket or any weight information on it, so better slide over, car. Come on, slide over. Alright. Anyway, they didn't include a scale ticket, so I don't know how heavy or light it really is, or how the axle weights are, but I'm only 30 miles away, and the only weigh station in this area, anywhere near here, is Chowchilla, and I think that one's behind me, so I don't think I need to worry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chowchilla's behind me if I remember right, so I'm not even going to worry about that. Just get the load delivered. As assume that they've probably already taken it across the Tehachapi scale and or the Chowchilla scale, possibly on the way up here. You never know though. Alright, anyway, going back to the story time here, right guys? My friend, he's never been a trainer before. Let's see, how much experience does he have? About 5 or 6 years of experience now, something like that. He's actually a very articulate person. So he asked me, do you think I would make a good trainer? And I go, I don't know, maybe, because one of the downfalls is you've got to have patience. You have to understand that trainees don't know what things that you know and don't think about things the way that you think about them and stuff, and you have to teach them that. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to sink in. And I was telling them about how, I was always training people in Freightliners, and I noticed probably pretty close to half of the people I trained always had a tendency to favor the right side of the lane so much that the tires would straddle the fog line, or even cross over into the shoulder a little, like in the rumble strips, if they were in the right lane. And then it was even more of a problem if they were not in the right lane and traffic was trying to use the lane to the right of you, and like maybe if you're near a split or something or whatever it might be. I don't teach people to camp out in the middle lane, by the way, if you're wondering about that. But okay, and I was telling them how usually when that happens, it's because they're used to where their body is in relation to the line in their personal vehicles. But a passenger vehicle is usually only about 6.5 feet or so wide, something like that. I don't know, 6.5. I'm not really sure. It's somewhere in that ballpark. It's definitely more narrow than a Class 8 truck is, though. In general, though, when you get in a Class 8 truck, we're in a vehicle that's 8.5 feet wide, not 6 to 6.5. And on top of that, now there actually is a difference here between Freightliners and other Class 8s. Let me get slid over because I don't want to do it. No, it looks like it might be alright. Yeah, I'll be alright. I was concerned about that dump truck, but we're good. Alright, so Freightliners, because I would always ask people, why do you keep driving on the right side of the lane? And they would usually tell me it's because they feel like they're right on top of the lane on this side, like they're getting too close to encroaching on the left side. And I would always tell them, use your mirrors. You should be looking in your mirrors regularly, and be regularly looking to see how large the gap is between the right side of your truck and trailer on the line over there, and the left side and the line over here. If they don't appear to be equal, you're not in the center of the lane. And I don't care what you feel like you're doing. You need to put your truck where it's, where you can use your mirrors and see on both sides and see that you're centered. And, I would also teach them, once you figure out what that center is, something that can help would be use your hood mirror. Your driver's side hood mirror here. And, figure out where exactly the lane stripe here is in relation to your hood mirror. Like, is it right on depending on how you're seated and how high you are in the truck and all that kind of stuff. It could be we'll just say right over the top right corner of the mirror, or like in my case right here, I sit pretty high, and I'm tall. I'm 6'3", and I usually sit with a chair all the way back and most of the way up. And like where I'm at, it's actually right about almost where where the hood mirror meets up with the hood itself. Quite a bit different. So it's gonna be different for everybody, but it's a good way you can kind of get an idea. Well, actually, even right now, it's actually more like halfway between the hood mirror and the hood. So I would teach them that, and then they would use that. But now there's a caveat to doing it that way: is you're gonna have less tendency to want to rely on your door mirrors that you're supposed to be using regularly, and that's a very common habit that drivers who only drive POVs tend to do. They don't use their mirrors enough. In fact, I had another trainee once who I was trying to get to use the mirrors more frequently than he was, and he said he was afraid to because he was concerned about the traffic in front of him. And I told him, well, that right there is probably a pretty good clue that you're following that other traffic too closely. If you don't feel that you can safely look in your mirrors at regular intervals, then you're too close to other traffic. Back it off if you have to. So I was like, that's a good idea, whatever. So he does that, and I start realizing that it really did help him a lot. And he has to take me on that. All right, so I imagine it's going to eventually get to a point in time where I possibly get asked the same thing. I've been asked about it before a couple of times by people at the terminal. Actually, a DM had asked me about what concerns I would have about doing it, and I mean, because I have experience with it. It can be very rewarding, and it's especially great when you end up with trainees who are very easy to train, and not just easy to train, but you can tolerate being in the same living space as them as well for a month or whatever at a time, a few weeks at the very least. But you also get these other trainees, like I was telling my buddy, that you get as a trainer, I find it's kind of a double-edged thing here. One, you're constantly learning new things yourself about how to carry out your training, what rules are set, or how laid back you want to be, or hey, I need to start doing this because of this trainee had experience or something. And there are others where it's just a breeze. Case in point, my #1 watch video here on YouTube, my double blindside backing video. Let me get past this car real quick. All right. That was filmed by my trainee that I had at the time. And that guy, right from the get-go, he had freaking great habits. I usually expect people to have difficulty with right turns, where they don't really quite know how to execute the turn or where to start it from and that kind of stuff. Or especially getting them to stare at their mirrors and let their peripheral vision worry about where the tractor's going. A lot of the drivers don't. A lot of drivers will glance over there, and then they'll look at where the truck's going, trying to make sure they're guiding it where it needs to go, and then totally forget to look at the mirrors again. And they always tell me, "Oh, I'm looking at my tandems." Like, no, you're not. If you're not staring at your tandems, you're not looking at your mirrors. You're not looking at your tandems. So I don't know. I know there are a lot of videos out where they seem to be popular, and I don't really give a shit if my videos are popular or not. They get enough views, I guess, in general anyway. But even more, great if I get people who find value in my videos in some way, even better. I don't care if they subscribe or don't subscribe. It's whatever. Just if I have some content that's useful to you in some way, great. Anyway, now this guy who filmed my #1 video, though, he knew how to turn right from the get-go. He obviously paid attention in CDL school. He was staring at his tandems and knew exactly how to make his right turns without me even teaching him or having to correct him on that. He knew how to stay in the middle of the lane. A lot of great habits. He really made my life super easy. Shit. This fucking speed racer here is not helping me here when these guys are getting on the freeway. Dude, come on. I can't get moved over because he's fucking... Alright, thank you. This rollback truck wants on, and then I was expecting this other guy to possibly want on too. Let's see if I can get moved back over. Alright, yeah, we're good. I was expecting this guy to want to get on the freeway too, but apparently he didn't. So I could have just breezed right on through at the normal speed had I known that he was going to exit right away. But I don't normally expect that to happen. I usually expect people entering the freeway to get on and stay on, and not so common for them to. There's that can happen. It does happen. It's just there's a better chance they're going to get on the freeway and stay on it, though, at least for a little bit. All right. Anyway, that's the only thing I really even had to do with this driver who did my first video. His name is George Harris, by the way. I'm gonna, you guys, I don't know. He's from the Chicago area and Hammond, Indiana area. And without a doubt, I would say this guy was my favorite trainee out of everybody I ever trained. I had a lot of good trainees. I'm not saying anything bad about other good trainees I had by not mentioning their names, but this one definitely stood out above all the rest. He had a great attitude. He was fun to have on the truck, and man, he made life so easy on me as a trainer too. I could kill to have a trainee like him every single time, but alas, it doesn't work that way more often than not. Okay, we got some kind of traffic delay up ahead. Let me get zoomed in. Now I did have a number of trainees who were a joy to have on the truck, and who had who also had really good training experiences with. So I'm not going to deny that there were plenty of others, but there were plenty of others who, I usually find out within a week whether or not they really belonged in a truck. And I'm going to talk about one who definitely did not belong in a truck. I ended up getting her to upgrade, or at least to where she tried to upgrade. Yeah, it wasn't quite so successful though. Short story is, I got her minimum training, and then she needed a little bit more hours. I think just a few more hours before she really was supposed to be off the truck. But they told me go ahead and drop her off because of where I was at, and she's close enough in her hours anyway. Because at Cedar England, they had a policy of the trainee has to drive 165 to 180 hours. So anywhere in that window, it's time to take them in for an upgrade, or to get evaluated for upgrade. All right, so this one, ultimately, she went in for upgrade, and she failed the road eval and was promptly disqualified right after that. So that's the end story. Now, disqualified means that she's no longer allowed to drive a truck for the company anymore. She can work for the company in a non-driver capacity, but is not allowed to drive one of their trucks. All right, so let's get to the story of how that came to be. All right, this was a woman, I think age 55, if I remember right, from Washington. She got her CDL from a CDL school up there. It was not a Cedar England affiliated school. It was some other one, if I recall. I can't remember the name of it, she said, but anyway, oh my God, she was kind of a pain in the ass the entire time. She had a little bit of a fiery attitude too, which made it even worse. All right, so I picked her up in Salt Lake City. And I had just finished, I think, delivering a load or something like that, and I had come over to come pick her up, and then right after that, we were going to go to the, I want to say it's Stouffer's facility. It's been too long, but I want to say it's like Stouffer's or something like Nestle related or something like that in Springville, Utah. Springville is right by Provo, about 40 or 45 miles south of Salt Lake City. We get over there, pick the load up. It's on the heavy side, and right down the street from there is the Flying J truck stop, exit 261, if I remember correctly. There, if you guys are familiar with the area, and the shipper is even on the same side of I-15 as that Flying J. You just go right past the Flying J, and then down the street. There's a street you turn left on to go north, and on the right side there's I think another side street you use to get into the place. It kind of helps with the map looking there. It's right by the mountainside, basically, and railroad tracks. Anyway, though, we get over to the truck stop to scale the load, and I have to teach her about weighing and scaling and sliding and whatever. So I do that, and the tandems were, I think it was overweight. It wasn't a big deal, but I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know we had to slide the tandems to get it legal from where it was already at. So we go across the scale and realize this, and then I had her go ahead and park, and then I was gonna, we had time anyway, and I was gonna educate her on how to figure out how far to slide the tandems. All right, so I'll just say there are 4-inch and 6-inch hole pattern varieties on Cedar England trailers. JCT trailers always come in 6-inch variety, and there's a lot of information that old school truckers will teach that is not appropriate for a 6-inch hole trailer pattern or hole pattern. Because back in the day, I think everybody was always using 4-inch pattern, and the numbers that work with 4-inch pattern do not work so well with 6-inch. Close. So I used my own formulas to figure out how exactly how much to say per hole on a 6-inch hole pattern trailer. I also had to show her how to tell the difference between the two patterns, using our own trailer as well as looking at someone else's trailer in the parking lot. And also, I have my own things that nobody teaches, because I figured my own formulas out. And that is generally for ideal balance, because when you're in icy conditions, you want to be as well balanced as you can be and still be weight legal. Because if you have a well balanced trailer, it won't be quite so easy to lose control of anything, and if you do lose control, it is easier to regain control. So that's why I teach that. There is a video out on Facebook and YouTube where it shows that it's demonstrated on with like a toy car pulling a trailer that has weight shift from the rear to the front on like a little conveyor belt thing. You guys might have seen that one. That's a really good demonstration of that. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But anyway, there's a set of criteria, or basically a formula I use for ideal balancing, and then there are other numbers you use for just to get it legal. What's the minimum to get it legal at all, and then what amount do you want to move for ideally to make it as perfectly balanced? So pretty simple here. Between the drive axles and tandems, for every 1,500 pound weight difference, we're slowing down here just like I expected. See if my onboard Google is not giving me a length of delay. It doesn't look like it's too bad. Alright, Salida. Alright, anyway, yeah, every 1,500 pound difference between the two, you slide the tandems 1 foot. Now, how much is 1 foot in terms of holes? Well, okay, 4-inch hole pattern trailer, it's, divide 12 by 4. That's 3. So you slide the tandems 3 holes for every 1,500 pounds that the weights differ by. And on a 6-inch hole trailer, it's 2 holes, because 12 divided by 6 is 2. Alright, so I told her that, and then I was also teaching her, and then if you just want to make it legal, 250 pounds per hole for 4-inch hole pattern, or 375 per hole for the 6-inch pattern. Now, some people go 400 pounds to make it easier. Because if you don't want to use a calculator, 400, I get it. It's not far off from 375. I just go ahead and use a calculator, though. Your phone has one more than likely. Mine's very easy to get to. So I just use it. Hey, I'm 35,860. I actually had a load that scaled on the tandems like that not long ago. You guys even saw that video, possibly. I think that was that one I picked up in Russellville, Arkansas about a month ago. Alright, I wanted to just get it legal. Or I wanted to know the difference between what's going to be just enough to be legal and what'll get me perfect balance. And I was in the California hole, and I ended up figuring out by the numbers, because you just divide subtract 34,000 from your actual weight, 35,860. That's 1,860 over. Divide that by 375, because like I said, every JCT trailer I've ever pulled has a 6-inch hole pattern on it. So I use the 6-inch standard instead. Most old school drivers will teach you 250, but again, they don't know about 6-inch patterns and how you can use 250 on a 6-inch pattern, but to do that, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be overshooting what you want to be doing and having to get back on, slide the tandems again because you overshot and get back on, and I might have overshot again until it kind of settles finally. So use the right standard for the right pattern, I say, because you don't want to be going across the scale and sliding tandems any more frequently than you really need to. And that in mind, this woman had asked me, well, where's this 1,500 thing come from? So that's when I started explaining it to her, how I came up with that number and how it works and all that. And then she goes, well, I think you're overly complicating this. I'm like, this is your first day on the damn truck, and I've been doing this I had about a year of experience, I think, at the time when she was on the truck. It's not a lot, but you guys know I'm a lot more astute than the average driver as well. Some might call me a know-it-all at times, and I'm constantly learning new things myself. Even today, I still learn new things. But do I know enough and know how to do enough to the point where I can teach other people how to do it when there aren't enough drivers with an ideal amount of experience willing to do it? That's another topic there. All right, well, anyway, I go, like, you just got on the truck, and I said, do you want to be going across that scale 4 or 5 times before you get it right, or do you want to go across it once, figure out what exactly how many holes you need to go by calculation, and then do what move you need to make, right lane, close the head, okay. And then go back across the scale to verify that you've made the right move and know that you're going to be right. All right, looks like this Nissan's going to check up. Possibly. Don't do it, dude. Don't be an ass. You didn't see my fucking turn signal, you stupid asshole. You were checking up and all of a sudden decide you're going to try to pass me up. And I'd be a dick and cock block me. That's why zipper merge doesn't work. It's people like that. You drive too close to the person in front of you, nobody can merge when they need to, and everybody gets slowed down to a damn stop or crawl in order to finally change lanes when they need to. And what's wrong with that merge sign up there? It's the wrong way. It said right lane closed ahead, and there's obviously right lane traffic, but it's a merge right sign. That's what you call a Caltrans fail. All right, unless the sign is, or unless it really is a merge right and not left up here, but I don't know. That sign back there said right lane closed, so I'm coming over out of the right lane. All right, anyway, don't question me on overcomplicating things. If you want to make it more complicated by going across that scale 3, 4, 5 times before you finally get it right, go for it. But I want to slide my tandems once, and then go across that scale and verify that I really did move the right amount. And it works every time for me. Every time. I got just over 1 million miles of dispatch miles now. And still to this day, I can say following these formulas to a T, it's always worked perfectly for me. It got me in the right spot. All right, so the 1500 now, that load out of Russellville, I ended up having to slide 5 holes to make it legal. See, I'm going to back off here because I know this truck needs over. And that was going to put me at 42.5 feet. Because every 2 holes is 1 foot. And then, but to be ideally balanced, I had to have it 44.5 feet, which is really far back. It's not too far from the aftmost setting. And dude, this is the other reason why zipper merge doesn't work. People try to force their way around like this idiot does. Whoever you're in front, if you're in front of somebody, you're the one who gets the right of way. If you're behind them, drop in behind them. Don't try to play this little stupid game here. That's why, zipper merge doesn't work for shit in reality. When people do it right, it actually works great. But nobody does. All right. So anyway, that's just from the start of it. Now on the way, now that load was going to Gaffney, South Carolina, and now I had to, let's see, this guy's gonna need space too, so we'll give him space to come in. Come on in, TCI. All right. So the route plan, basically, I didn't get a chance to really go over the actual full-blown trip plan, but I at least wanted to get her on, at least for that shift, moving in the right direction. And our plan from there was to go just a few miles south of where we were at, to Highway 6, US 6, there in Spanish Fork, and take that across to the southeast, and that would turn into, that would kind of merge with, it could join with 191, and 191 will run you into Interstate 70 over by Green River, Utah. And then you go east on I-70 over to Denver and points east. All right, so I'm in the passenger seat with her as much as I possibly can, but I've already had so much of a day as it was, and I was tired, and I was staying up as much as I possibly could with her, at least till we got to I-70, if nothing else. Then I was thinking, all right, I'll go ahead and take a couple hour nap or something once we get on to 70. But I was getting so tired that before we even made it to 70, I was like, I really want to stay up here as long as I can, but I can't keep my eyes open. I really need to get stopped on the I really need to get on the get in the bunk and get a little bit of rest. So I go back there, start napping, and as a trainer, there's one of the things you figure out is, or maybe even a team driver, you get attuned to certain things going on. Like your body knows that certain things are expected to happen, and if you feel something other than that, then you know there's something not right. Even if the curtain's closed and you're back there not even looking at the map or anything, you can tell. Just like when I'm north of Sacramento, there's that bridge over there that goes across that, whatever that is, I don't know, that reservoir thing, or that dry reservoir, or whatever the farms are at, flood channel. I don't know, Scotty, you know more, you're up in that area more than I am. But there's that bridge there, and I could be in the back sleeping, or even not even sleeping. We go across that bridge, it's like, I feel like every time I hear that rhythm, I'm back on the track team running hurdles again, like I did when I was in high school. Now, 110 high hurdles, that's that same pattern. And that's exactly what I could be back there and I know as soon as I hear that, I'm going across that bridge. And same thing like when I'm expecting to get on I-70 from 191/6, and I'm expecting a long sweeping left turn to get onto there. And what I instead feel is a long right curve. I knew that she was getting on the wrong side. So I pulled out my map. I wake up when I felt that. And I look at the map, and sure enough, my blue dot is right there on the westbound on-ramp. I'm like, where are we going? I don't know. I don't know where South Carolina is. I'm like, how the hell do you not know where South Carolina is? You live in Washington. Not very many, between you and Utah, there aren't very many states that you can say are west of you, and your own state is one of them. And Idaho, Oregon, California, you can argue Nevada, but Nevada is directly south of Utah. Yeah, but those are the only states you can possibly say are west of you. So why are you getting on the west side of the freeway? Well, I don't know where to go. Like, well, I'll give you a pretty good hint here. Everything is going to be like, I understand if you're from the West Coast, and I know there are more states in the East than there are in the West. And you might, if you're a little more geographically challenged, might have trouble with where exactly along the East Coast some of the states are. But I think like everyone who's American should have a pretty good, at least an idea, a decent idea of where about in the country certain states are. South Carolina is all the way by the Atlantic Ocean. And so the only way you can go to get there is east and or south from Utah. So I told her every highway you touch from here on out to the customer better be saying eastbound or southbound. I don't want to see you getting on any northbound or westbound road anywhere along the way. Unless it's like maybe a little special place, but we can trip plan that later when it got to that point. Well, anyway, yeah, and then we get on we end up, I finally get her turned around and going the right way, and I realize she starts driving with her high beams on a lot, even when there's oncoming traffic. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you driving with your high beams on when there's traffic coming the other way? And she said, well, I can't see. And it turned out, I guess she had like 3 different eyeglass prescription issues there. Okay, so before, I'm going to have to stop right here. This exit right here is one of the ways that my Google is suggesting. As you see, I'm not following that route. I could possibly, it might not be an issue to go that way, but there's a tight right turn right there as soon as you get on the other side of the road. To get on the road that you have to follow, and that takes you straight up to the street we're going to use, which is Spreckles. But I instead would rather go ahead and use the 120 west exit here. And the very first exit will be Main Street. We'll get off at Main, make a right. And I think the first major road there on the right, we'll make another right onto, I can't remember what the name of that street is, but it turns into Spreckles. And it looks like it's more time on bigger roads, less time actually on smaller roads, which is a good way to think when you're in a truck. If you're on a smaller road like that one parallel to us, it becomes more of a question, is it truck legal? Or even if it is truck legal, how many stop signs or traffic lights or other traffic and intersections and stuff do I need to worry about dealing with if I go that way? So that's why I decided I'd rather go this way than what Google wants me to do. Okay, right over here in this complex is where a customer is at. I don't know exactly which one. I found it. I just saw it because it's a white building with that blue striping on it. Yeah, it's a dead giveaway that that's Lineage. All right. So that said, yeah, but it turned out like she had one eyeglass prescription that would let her see the instrument panel very well, but could not see shit up further ahead. She had another eyeglass prescription where she could see down the road just fine. It's like she needed trifocals, but only had like one of each type of glass, like glasses or something. I don't know, but I guess she didn't have the right glasses on to where she could see down the road, where she could see the lines that the lane, the fog line and the lane divider. And I say, well, you can't be doing this. I mean, if it comes down to that, I would have to consider telling her she can't drive until she has the right prescription on her face, or we're in conditions like daytime conditions, because it was getting at night then. It was at night then, where I don't know, maybe driving during the daytime would help her more. But like, you can't be doing this and high beaming everybody just because you can't see. You need to be using the right eyeglasses so you can see what you're supposed to be seeing without blinding everybody else. Let's see, and I had another case where she told me that when she was in CDL school, she was like the best backer in her school, and part of that was because she, let me get zoomed in there for you guys. All right, now see, yeah. Said that she was regularly pulling 35-foot horse trailers, and she regularly go to horse shows and stuff. Okay, yeah, perfect. This right turn I want to make. There's even a truck route sign right there saying to turn right. All right, so anyway, I hadn't seen her back yet. She told me that right as soon as she was on the truck, pretty much, and that she enjoyed the backing experience. And then in CDO school, she was even teaching, helping her. This light's yellow, so I'm gonna wait because these guys here might get a green arrow in a second. Yep, exactly what I said. That's why I didn't want to go. But anyway, yeah, she said she was good at backing, and she was, like a lot of the trainees, the other students in the school they weren't good at backing, so they would ask her for help a lot, and I guess the yard instructors there liked her too because of that kind of stuff. And then she gets on my truck, and I have these high expectations now of what she's capable of. But we do our first truck backing into a parking spot at a truck stop somewhere. I don't remember where, but yeah, it was probably Grand Junction, Colorado, with like the Loves or something. I don't know. It's somewhere in that neck of the woods, more likely. And I told her, okay, I'm going to set you up because I know you don't know the setup. It's one thing to know how to control the trailer. It's another thing to know how to set up the trailer so you can most easily get the job done. And 90% of the ease or difficulty you're going to have with backing a truck and trailer is the setup. If you have a really good setup and you have good fundamentals, you're going to have an easy time getting the trailer in there, no matter how difficult it might look. Well, basically, it's like you can make difficult backings look easy if you have good fundamentals and you did a really good setup. But if you have a bad setup, I don't care how good your backing skills are, you're going to have a pain in the ass time getting in there. And to make it worse, if you have, the next leg down would be if you have a good setup but you're not good fundamentals, you're going to screw it up and make it worse, harder to get in there. And then if you have a bad setup and bad fundamentals, yeah, forget it. You're just an accident waiting to happen. All right, we'll get zoomed in a little bit more. Yeah, there is a side street we're going to turn on. Not this one, but shortly after that. So anyway, I get her set up. I teach her where to start her setup from and all that. Let me get slid over because I need, I'm going to have to stop here because I can't stop on the tracks. Actually, no, there might be enough. Fucker. You just screwed that up for me now. I was in a crossing. I was committed to crossing the tracks and getting into there. This fucker moved right and totally trashed that entire plan up. Now at least I'm on the right side of the gate, so if the gates do come down, I'm not going to get hit by it, but it's close. So that's another, it might be a thing you want to consider doing when you're in the vicinity of railroad tracks and trucks. Don't do that. Because honestly, they could have got me stuck on the tracks because the other traffic behind me and now having nowhere to go. Alright, anyway. Yeah, so I watch her, my normal routine was get out of the truck, go out, usually out now. Well, it depends on where I say. I usually tell them I'm going to just go ahead and get out and be in where I need to be, and then I'm going to let you do everything yourself. And that way I can see what I'm working with. I don't need to be sitting there coaching someone on how to control a trailer if they can clearly demonstrate that they know how to do it already themselves. So I gave her a chance. I see a sign for Lineage right there. Right there's that same street that I'm expecting to turn. There's a Lineage sign right there in front of it. Okay, so usually if they're pretty good at backing skills, I can usually tell pretty quickly, they know how to react to the trailer at least. Even if they have a bad setup, I can tell they can realize if they're a bad setup or a good setup, or have a decent idea how to get in. Okay, this is Lineage right, oh wait, this one, yeah, okay. Do not block employee, park at east or west end of building prior to checking in with traffic. Okay. This guy is over here on the west end. It's trying to make eye contact with this guy, but he's not looking, so. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and we'll just go ahead. I don't care if I walk. I'm guessing this might be the shipping office right here. No truck stopping. Yeah, there's the shipping office right there. Right on this side of that extension thing. Okay, so yeah, we'll find a spot over here to the east end where we're not blocking anybody. Not in front of dock doors, not blocking people who work here. And we'll walk across. Hopefully there's room over here. Alright, anyway though, yeah, she clearly demonstrated she was not so good with her fundamentals. She like the trailer, she did a common thing where she's sitting there steering straight, which is fine, but once the trailer is getting the right rotation and position, you need to be reacting to it, and she wasn't. And I could tell that this isn't working out so well. Her backing skills are definitely not as good as she's making them out to be. Alright, only one spot available here. We'll do a U-turn style setup. Why are these cars parked in the truck spots? They shouldn't even be there. There are other spots over here that they can be parking in. I almost want to be an asshole and say, well, if you guys are going to park in the truck spots, I'm going to park in the car spots, because you guys want to be rude and not give me there's nowhere for me to park because you guys are parking where I can park, then that's on you guys. So, come on, fucking stupid truck. So I bumped into the curb, and the truck kept wanting to keep driving into it, and before it finally let go, I'm like, dude, it shouldn't have been doing that. Should have just stopped on its own anyway, and I don't know why it was trying to fight it so hard. All right, let me get checked in. I know a little bit lengthy story here, but there's more. All right, guys, we are finally checked in. Took a bit of time there. Come on. So, turned out the load is late and had to be rescheduled, so they wanted me to pay a rescheduling fee, but I just acquired the load last night and I was told it was due here today at 11. So, as far as my part of it's concerned, I'm here when I'm supposed to be, but the load is not. So whoever picked the load up, which by the way, it got picked up at Dorada Foods in Ponca City, Oklahoma. What is that? Is that Oklahoma? Yeah, I think it's Oklahoma. Okay, we're gonna go to door 47, which is right over here. Leave doors closed and sealed, and bump the dock just with it just like that. Wait on this bobtail driver to get by, and then do a U-turn setup. Yeah, there should be enough room for me to do a U-turn setup here. It's a tight one because these cars here, but we'll give it a try. Normally I'd be okay there, but I think that the nose of my tractor is going to have a problem with this car over here, so we'll kind of redo it just a little bit. It's not how I normally do my U-turn setups, right? Well, what I started with was fine. Just had a issue there. Still gonna end up, yeah. I need to try and get my tandems over here. I mean, not my tandems, but take what space I can over here. Because, yeah, see, I'm going to be late. That trailer is going to run away from me like it was trying to do, and now I'm turning out to make this into a more difficult vacuum than it probably needs to be, but it's alright. You guys can see. I might work out here. No, now we're off just a little bit. Still need to go a little bit more to the right. I was going by the lines, like I wanted to line up with the line there, but it's not correct. It's actually, there's a gap that's gonna be there between the lines of both sides of the trailer. Try to get them tandems lined up with those stops down there at the bottom. Alright, now we should be good. Oh yeah, that's right on the money there. Alright, I'll get my wheel shocks set. I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to be able to have time to finish talking about that trainee without making the video too long. So maybe, I don't know, we might do a part 2 or something about her on another video. Well, yeah, we can have 2 shorter videos, whatever, 2 different experiences, and finish talking about her. Alright guys, we are finally ready to get out of here. So this guy right here in front of me, I guess, he's needing to dock into my door. And there was a little bit of Keystone foolery kind of stuff going on here. Let me get out of his way real quick. I need to get my doors shut and verify that I'm empty as well. And we'll get out of here. I need to be quick though, because I really want to keep my video below an hour, and I know that first segment was already like 50 minutes. So we're gonna, alright, let me check, make sure I'm out of the way. Alright guys, let's get rolling here. Alright, so as you see, I don't have any hoodies or anything on anymore. We got 70-degree weather here. It's really nice right now. Oh shit. I've got to turn my reefer unit off, but that's alright. I'm not going to drive that far today anyway. Alright, so we'll talk about the experience here real quick, as quickly as I can. When I was checking in, I had that late fee issue. I think I already mentioned it while docking in. And we got other traffic to deal with here, so okay, this looks like, yeah, it's only one lane. Yeah, it's intentionally set up so other people can make wide turns. Okay, anyway, yeah, it was a $178 rescheduling fee. Yeah, I got a hold of one of the DMs, and she was able to get it authorized and noted that not to charge me for it because it's not, yeah, there's another Tesla semi right there pulling that Cheetos trailer. Freaking ugly ass things. Alright, so, yeah, and I let her know, hey, just because she was asking if everybody, and there were like a few of us there in the lobby, and she asked, anybody here parked in the middle or like up in front of here at all? I go, no. I told her I took the very last spot over there on the east end, and I told her, just an FYI, you got people's personal vehicles parked in the trailer, in the drop spots. And then she responded with, well, I mean, no, not rudely at all, but she responded that it was not their, those aren't their vehicles, and they couldn't do anything about it. And I'm like, well, it's your lot though, so kind of you can. Now, she's got a point. However, I don't think she's completely 100% right on how that was handled. I would say, you know, yeah, it's okay. So the cars probably belong to the lumpers who work for a third-party contractor. They don't work for Lineage. They work for a contractor that does the work for Lineage. So yeah, she has no control technically over what the contractor's employees do. However, the management there could always go to the contractor and tell them, hey, can you ask your employees to not park in these spots? These are specifically for trucks and trailers, not for personal vehicles. There were plenty of spots over there that could have been parked in that were suitable only for cars. So that was the only, the one big gripe I had early on. Getting unloaded didn't take long, too incredibly long. However, I remember when the guy came back out to remove the glad hand lock and remove the wheel chock. I didn't know, I don't know the checkout process, so I'm thinking, and I was told by my DM when I was talking to her on the phone about my my late fee or the rescheduling fee issue, whatever. She said to expect there to be a lumper fee as well, and then inside the right there by the office window, there's a sign there that shows what the lumper company's info is, like their taxpayer ID and stuff, and like that usually will find. So I had every reason to think that I was going to pay a lumper fee, but nope, no lumper fee at all. But then after the guy turned, took the lock off, okay, my door light was red the entire time, and I'm expecting, let's see, was I supposed to turn on that other street? I think I was. Let me get my map up. I don't, I think I overshot the street I wanted. No, we haven't. No, we're good. Keep going up the road here, and then I was like, I thought it was a traffic light at a more major intersection that I turned on. I was like, that can't be right. Alright, anyway, though, yeah, I ended up about 45 to 60 minutes or so after the guy had already removed the glad hand lock. I got a call from them saying, hey, you're all done here, you can come get your bills. So I'm like, oh, there's no lumper fee to pay? And she goes, no. She said, as soon as they're done, you can come over here and get your bills. Ah, okay. Because I told her, yeah, I watched the guy come out here and take the glad hand lock off. It was a while ago, too, probably like at least 45 minutes ago. And but I told her even at this very moment, my door light is still red. So before I walked out of the door with bills in hand, she got on the radio and asked the lumper to unlock my to turn my door light green. And then I still sitting there about 15 minutes after they had called me, and I realized the ICC bar lock was still engaged and my door light was still red too, and I couldn't leave even if it was just a door light being lazy issue kind of thing. So and on top of that, the guy I was talking about there in front of me when we were knocking out, he was waiting there patiently for several minutes himself. Actually, he was on his way back to his truck when I was on my way in to get my bills, and he was kind of sitting there waiting, but he was not giving me any indication that he was waiting for my door. And the door next to me was vacant, so I was thinking, well, maybe he's going to that door or something, but he wasn't going to it. And then someone else was backing in closer to the office, and when that person was backing in, he backed up some more. I'm like, so is he backing into a door that way or something? I'm confused here. And after about 20 minutes after the original phone call, I go back in there to let her know, hey, just FYI, following up on this, my ICC bar lock is still engaged and my door lock is still red. I can't vacate the door until they fix that. And I went in there kind of prepared to let them know, just if they give me any hassle about it, like, well, I don't really care. I'll sit here all day long if you want me to. But as long as I'm being detained from leaving, you're paying me detention pay, and we are into detention time too. So, I would have said, have at, keep me there all day long. I don't give a shit. I don't have to be there anywhere until tomorrow evening. Speaking of, all right, talking about that, we'll wrap this up. We're gonna go across 120 over to I-5 and head south on 5. I'm going to get my trailer washed out over here at Joe's Travel Center at the truck stop over there, whatever you want to call it, in Wesley, which is right just south of where I-5 and I-580 meet up on the southeast end of Tracy. And after that, I will be picking up a reload in Marina, California again. Same place you guys saw me at, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. In fact, both the pickup and the delivery are going to be the same. So that'll be what'll be on tap next. All right. Probably go ahead and vlog that so we can finish this story about the trainee. I apologize for taking so long. I didn't realize it was going to take that long to get that story done. But yeah, c'est la vie. All right. So y'all have a great day. We'll see you guys in Marina. Okay. All right, we'll see you then.